Hey guys, this is Karthikeya Kantwal from Apex FinServe and we'll be going through the same roundup of things today as well. 5 trades from the equity segment for tomorrow's trading session along with the index outlook on Nifty and Banknifty using their charts and the option chain analysis. But before we start, I'll tell you guys about the trades that we discussed yesterday. So we had 5 trades as usual, out of which 3 were triggered and 2 hit the targets, specifically PEL and IndusInd Bank. SRT was triggered, it was not triggered rather, by a very small amount, otherwise, it did go as per our bias. The one that closed in red slightly was Apollo Hospitals, but it was a very minor red, about 0.15 0.2%. So, all things considered, we had a good green trading session as per the watch list. And coming to the indexes, the indices that we discussed yesterday, so that was fruitful too, with the indices going as per our bias. So we had a good green personal trading session. I hope you guys had a green one as well. Now coming to the trades for tomorrow's trading session, starting with the first one, we have SRT. Now SRT, I told you guys yesterday, it has transitioned into forming lower lows and lower highs, and that is the kind of movement that happened today. It had significant selling pressure, and at the end it started forming a small retracement. So the idea now is to take a short position to align ourselves with the structure formation when this swing low is broken. So the trade on SRT is to go for a short position under 680 with the stop loss going at 690. Now this is again the kind of trade where I would advise personally using an SLM order type instead of your standard bracket order affair. Going to the second script that we have, Apollo. Now Apollo Hospitals, it has clearly transitioned into higher highs and higher lows, with new highs being formed and new lows as well, which are pretty proportional in nature. So you can say that it is in the beginning of smooth uptrend channel. So the idea now is to take a long position at the role reversal of this resistance, which should ideally turn support now that it's broken. So we'll be entering a long position at the pullback. So we'll be entering longs in Apollo Hospitals at 1420 with the stop loss going at 1400. The ideal targets 1% as usual. Coming to the third script that we have, Just Dial. Now Just Dial, we have been playing pretty aggressively since a couple of days, but more or less it has completely avoided our levels, or turned around and went the other side completely. So we'll be going slightly conservative on Just Dial for tomorrow. We'll be taking a short position at the pullback, aligning ourselves with this smooth lower high structure. But the thing is, if we were being aggressive, we would have taken a short position somewhere near 372 373, where this swing low once broken should act as resistance now, from where it should come down. But being conservative, we'll take a short position at the earlier swing high, which if broken completely invalidates this lower high formation. So we'll be taking a short entry at 378 with the stop loss going at 383. The ideal targets 1% as usual. Coming to the fourth script, we have PEL. Now PEL, I told you guys yesterday that it has been relentlessly going up, and funny thing, just when I tell you guys it has been going up strongly, it forms a lower low. Quite a funny thing, right? So now the idea is to take a short position on PEL near this swing high, which now seems to be a good resistance level from where the selling has started multiple times in a row. So we'll be taking a short entry at the pullback at 1460, and the stop loss going above the resistance level and close to the highest point that we have for this underlying structure at 1478 or 1480 if you want to be even more conservative, if you want to give it some room for movement. But for us, it is going to be a short at 1460, stop loss at 1478, and ideal target at 1% as usual. Coming to the last equity script that we have, IndusInd. Now I told you guys back when this large up move happened, that there has to be a deep correction for this to be sustainable. So depending on which swing points you consider, if you consider this one, you can consider this entire down move to be a correction. If you consider this swing high and then these smaller correction in your structure, then you can even justify that this has been a slight lower high structure formation. So it depends on your viewpoint. But for us, as I told you guys, it should have a pullback till 525 530. So we are going to be taking the same stance. We are going to be initiating a long position at 525, stop loss going at 517, and the ideal targets at 1% as usual. That is all that we had for the equity segment. Now, moving on to the indices, Nifty and Bank Nifty. Starting with the first one as usual, Nifty. Now, Nifty, I told you guys that it is stuck in a range 10,700, 10,820, 10,830. The breakout of this range is going to decide the range for, not the range, is going to decide the direction for Nifty, at least for this coming expiry, if not longer. Now, today's opening, one can say that yes, Karthike, it was out of the range, but do gap ups really count as range breakouts? I don't really think so, and that was quickly validated when the price reclaimed the range, pretty abruptly with this huge selling pressure. Now, once it was back in the zones, it was very clear the pullback was supposed to be a short position. So, if you were an active trader, if you were using these charts or your own charts, you could have managed quick 70-80 points on Nifty as well. However, it is back in the range. So again, it is more or less of a waiting game for trend following traders. Wait for break of this range to enter trades in Nifty. Coming to the option chain for Nifty, we have our immediate resistance level at 10,900 with 490,000 added contracts, and our significant resistance level at 11,000 with 711,000 total added open contracts. For the support side of things, we have 10,800, which is quite literally our immediate level of support, with 520,000 positive open interest, and significant support at 10,700 with 742,000 added open interest. Now, I told you guys yesterday that the participation of option writers was quite disproportionate. We had a lot of call writers when compared to the put writers, but today, as you can see, it is pretty balanced in nature. We have about 500,000 writers, or 500,000 added open interest on the immediate support side, resistance side, and about 700,000 on the significant support resistance side. So it is pretty balanced in nature. Now, coming to the PCR of volume for Nifty, the PCR of volume comes to be at 0.93, which is pretty bearish in nature, but it's not as bearish as we had, which was over 1 yesterday. So 0.93 is mildly bearish, not heavily. If it was above 0.95, then I would have said, be careful about initiating longs. But since it is in bearish territory, at least for the option buyers, while initiating longs in Nifty for tomorrow's trading session, wait for price action confirmation. Do not just jump into longs or shorts. Coming to the next index, we have Bank Nifty. Now, Bank Nifty, it has been respecting our zones pretty well, honestly. It has been moving exactly how we expect it to, and hopefully it should keep doing that further. Now, we have a lot of zones, but as I always say, I would prefer not to enter on the immediate zone near the closing price, because it is being overly aggressive and it does not actually make sense, at least for me. So I would prefer to take a long trade at either 21,800 or a short trade at 22,300, 22,350, or even the breakout of either of these two zones. Now, when we talk about the option chain for Bank Nifty, we have our immediate resistance at 22,500 with 460,000 added open interest. Significant resistance comes to be at 23,000 with 560,000 added open interest. On the support side of things, we have our immediate support at 22,000. As with Nifty, it is quite literally our immediate support, with added open interest of 86,000, and for the significant support we have 21,500 with 128,000 total added open interest. Now, this was the option chain analysis for Nifty. Now, let's say you still want to follow the option chain, but you don't have the time to do it. So I have a quite neat trick that you can use. So there's this bot on Telegram called the Noob Stocks OI bot. It is pretty efficient, and more or less it gets the same level of resistance, support, and the PCR values that we manually calculate. So if you want to find out this bot, I'll be giving the link below in the description of this video. You can click on the link and use the bot for yourself. It's completely free, so feel free to use it. Feel free to share among your trading group. I'll give you a brief on how to use it. So on my chart right now, I have the Noob Stocks OI bot open. So let's say I want the option chain analysis for Bank Nifty for this coming expiry. So I just have to type in Bank Nifty and I have to send the message, and it will grab the changes and everything for you from the option chain without much interference. So I have entered it. It should get the values pretty quickly. It does this in live markets as well, so it should really help you track those small dynamic changes in the option chain during live market hours. Yeah, there it is. So we have the expiry mentioned, we have the PCR of open interest as well. Oops. So we have the PCR as well. We have key resistance. All right, yeah, it is the same with 23,000 and key support at 21,500, same as ours. It also has the graphical changes, which you will be much clearly able to see if you're using a mobile device. This is the desktop version. So this is a pretty neat trick, especially in live markets. It cuts a lot of the manual effort in tracking the option chain, so you can focus on your charts. If you want a quick confirmation of option chain, just fire up this bot, give it the script name, and let it do its job. I'll be attaching the link in the description of this video, so feel free to check it out. So this is all that we had for tonight, guys. I hope you're enjoying the content. If you are, do I have to say it again? If you are enjoying the content, do like, share, subscribe, comment on the video. What would you like to see from our side in the coming weekend? And let us know if you want to add commodities and currencies as well in the daily watch list, because we do trade for ourselves. So if you guys want those levels too, we might as well share it with the charts and help you guys understand it that little bit better. So this is all that we had, guys. Again, if you want any of these charts, if you want the option chain analysis or the index charts or these watchlist trades, feel free to check out the Telegram channel @ApexFinServe. Every day before 9 a.m. all of this is shared over there. And as I told you guys, that option chain analysis bot is very damn useful, so do check that out as well. I hope you guys had a good trading session, and I hope you have an even better one tomorrow. This is all that I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night. Bye.